Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Premier Chess Winter Virtual Class Week 2. This is the Adult Beginner class, and we will be. This is January. Winter Virtual Class 2021. So starting January 2021. So we're going to be talking about king hunts. So does anybody know what a king hunt is, or can you intuit it based on the name? What is a king hunt? Michael or Roy, any idea? Any want to
Yeah,
venture a
it's
guess?
it's actively seeking to mate.
Right, and so usually when a player engages in a king hunt, it usually involves a lot of sacrifices because again, the goal of chess. So here, this is a very interesting confusion that I hear some kind of radio playing in the background. Anybody have like a?
That's my granddaughters running around.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked. So one distinguishing factor between a beginner and a master, I guess really an ultra beginner, novice maybe, is beginners tend to have this idea that the goal of chess is to capture all your opponent's pieces. And so I see kids, frequently one kid has only a king and the other person has like maybe a queen, a rook, two bishops, two knights, a bunch of pawns. And you would think they would have checkmated by now, but for some reason they're still playing and the one person's just checking and the other person's just running away and it's all like chaotic. And so it's like I got all your pieces. I'm like, but that's not the goal of the game. and so yeah. So what I'm so and like the another way to look at chess is in terms of points, right? So I'm sure you all are familiar with like how much each of the pieces are worth, right? Pawns are worth 1 point, right? Everybody familiar with that? And bishops and knights, you guys know how many points bishops and knight?
Right.
3, right? And rook's worth
5.
5, and the queen
9.
9, right? And the king is priceless, right? Invaluable because you lose the king, you lose the game. So for that reason, it's just a device to help people figure out who's winning. At a glance, when somebody comes across your game and they're like, "Who's winning?" You just count up the pieces that you have. But of course, that's not the only factor in determining who's winning, right? Because as we learned in our last lecture on queen sacrifice, you can sacrifice your queen, be down in material, but win because you checkmated your opponent, right? So it's a guiding factor, but it's not the end all be all. It's not the definitive factor of who's winning, right? And that counts. That is also applicable to king hunts, right? The goal. Excellent. So looks like that's Anne. Oh, it's another person. You got a new one. Um, just say hi to Anne. Hello, Anne. How you doing?
Hi, it's Greg.
Oh, this doesn't sound like Anne. Oh, this is Greg. This is Greg. See that? I gotta be careful. I don't take. All right, I'm gonna rename you, so I don't keep calling you Anne. Okay,
I can do it.
Let's see, rename. All right, Greg. All right, I know Greg. Okay, cool. Okay, so Greg, we're talking about king hunts, right? So king hunt is basically actively seeking and attacking and destroying the king, checkmating the king, right? And so for the very same reason that that material doesn't matter completely when in terms of queen sacrifice, it also doesn't matter completely when in terms of king hunt because the ultimate goal is checkmate. So it's possible to sacrifice many pieces and your opponent's winning on material, but if you checkmate, then you are the winner. So in this position, you can see that the white king is it looks much safer than the black king, right? But the thing is,
I would disagree. I would disagree with that. I mean, black is one move from a forked check and losing their rook.
That's
and
true. That's
once
true.
the king moves, it's in play for black.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is there's many more dangerous white pieces that are near the black king than there are dangerous black pieces near the white king, right? So comparatively, the black king is a little bit more unsafe. However, the thing that gives black the advantage in this position is that it's black's move, right? So white made one fatal mistake in this position, which is he made a move that didn't involve a check, and so for that reason he gave black just one move of a breather, and now black begins to mount an attack onto white. And by the way, this game is between Marlozen versus Prince Dadian, 1876. So long time ago, maybe almost about
What was
150.
what was the move that White made that he could have been a check instead?
Actually, it might have been taking the rook, something like that. Or maybe queen down here. One of those. I'm not really sure, but this is the key position where the tide turned and it became black that became the aggressor in this position. So okay. So yeah. All right, so in that, knowing all that, so what do you think black played in this position? What do you think the best move is here for black?
Well, I mean, from a position of principle, you recognize that if you don't keep white in check, you've lost.
Exactly. Yeah. So white is threatening a discovered check anywhere along this diagonal.
So I guess my first move would be, intuitively, I haven't played this out, would be black knight to C2 check.
Yeah, so that would be the best check, and I mean the only good check really. All right, so knight takes C2 is the correct move. So now white can move one of these squares. So let's say he moves to let's say he moves up here. Would that be a good move? What do you think?
It would be a good move for black because then you can immediately either come down with the queen or you can check with the bishop.
Okay, so so what do you think is the best move here? What do you think?
Well, the bishop. So my answer is bogus, but it looks so easy if it were the queen that my assumption is it's not that it's got to be the bishop.
Okay, so basically we want to prevent the white king from escaping to G1, right? So maybe the best move here would be queen down.
Okay.
In this position, right? Now he can't escape this way. Now he's forced to escape this way.
And then you'd bring the bishop.
Maybe the bishop here, check.
And
now
then he'll block and then check again.
Maybe he blocks here. All right. And now let's see here.
Knight from C to E.
Right. Knight here, knight E3. The pawn is pinned to the king, so cannot capture the knight. Right. King here. What do you think now?
Now it'd be black knight to G2 check.
Very good. Knight takes G2 check, forcing he only has one move. And now how do we finish him off? Finish white off. What do you think?
Bishop.
Go ahead.
Bishop to F3.
Yeah, bishop to F3 is mate. Very nice. Beautiful mate there. Beautiful mating combination. Okay. So let's go back. So and okay, so what if he went, let's say he went here. Yeah, would that be good? So now again, maybe we come down here, check, right? Forcing him here. And now we got to get him out of here. So probably sacrifice a little bit like that. Something like that, right? And maybe continue attacking this way. And it will be mate. It should be mate soon there. Yeah, as well.
It almost looks like a French attack at that point, right? Where you're just giving up pieces to get that check.
Right. So here he's only got one move. So anybody see the mate? Okay, I'm not going to play it. So I want to see if you can visualize the mate. So king G1, and then where's the mate? Actually, hold on. Is there a mate? Maybe there isn't a mate in this. Oh, interesting. So the king, yeah, the king goes here. And
Yeah,
there's
and
only,
then
all
what
right?
about then queen to D4?
Yeah, so the problem with queen d4 is now we can trade. Now,
Oh, I
now
see. I
he
didn't see
trades.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
so maybe okay, let's go back. Maybe better than that maybe is moving the pawn down with check this way. Um hmm. Interesting. So it begins to get not so clear. And if he takes here, maybe we can come back up here with check, right? Something like that. Or we can even let's see. Which one would be better? Either one. Yeah. So it gets complicated. It gets complicated. So all right, let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. So knight takes c2. So he moved king d1. So now what do you think is the best move here?
Knight to E3.
Okay, so if we go knight e3, now we lose our knight.
Oh, that's
So we don't want to do that, right?
brilliant move.
So yeah. It's okay.
Bishop to F2.
Again, well, that's not a check, right? So, and because that's not a check, now we're giving white a chance to fight back. Maybe like something like that. Check. And,
Well, then it
yeah.
has to be bishop to G4.
Yeah, bishop g4 would be the best check here. Okay, and then he white goes f3. Now what's the best move here?
Well, pawn. Oh, wait. Yeah. Pawn to F3. Pawn to F3.
Actually, wait, hold on. Let me go back. Bishop g4. White could have also taken the knight.
Aye.
Is that a good move? What do you think?
No,
Right.
because then you have queen coming down for check.
Queen
and-
coming down d3 is mate,
Oh,
right? Mate. So yeah, taking the knight. The knight is untouchable. So
But if he doesn't take it, you asked before what the best move was. Wouldn't it be knight to E3 check?
okay, so let's see. So f3. So the best move here, knight e3 check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. Knight e3 check, and okay, king e1. So okay, so king e1 was the move he made. So what if he did? What if he did king e2? Now what do we do?
bishop to F3. No, take it back.
Yeah,
No.
we don't want to sacrifice any pieces.
No,
What
no.
about queen to D3?
Right, bring the queen down. Yeah, bring the queen down into the attack. Okay,
Mm.
and so if he has two choices. If he goes down to e1, now what do we do?
Knight to G2 check.
Very good. And then now this is the mate that we did before, and then mate, right?
Mhm.
Good. Good. So therefore, in this position, if he went here, what would be the best move here? What do you think?
I'd get the revealed mate by moving that knight at E3 and moving it to D1.
Okay, so knight d1 check. Okay, so here he has two possibilities, e1 and g3. So it might not be. Let's see. I guess
So
you
if he
could go
moves there,
here.
then you'd move your queen, right?
Queen to where?
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So now this knight, it looks like it's going to be lost. I mean, he could
I'm
come.
sorry, you'd move. Yeah, wouldn't you move your queen? No, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So much better than knight d1. What do you think? Much better than knight d1.
I don't know why, but knight to G2.
Yeah, knight g2, very good. That is the best move in this position. Knight takes g2, removing the defender of the f3 pawn. So now he has two possibilities. He can go to g3 or g2. So if he goes here, how do we finish him off?
With the queen.
Queen takes f3 as mate, very good. And if he takes the knight, what do you think? If he takes the knight,
I don't think you can get him in one move, can you?
no, same thing. Queen takes f3 is mate, right?
Right.
The bishop is controlling the g1 square, right? So all right, so let's go back. So that was after knight e3 if you went king d2. So if you went king e2, if you went king e1, so you basically follow a similar move order. You have to continue checking. Knight takes g2 check, and he can't go back to d1. Why? Why can't he go back to d1?
Because the bishop will take the pawn and it will just be another check, right?
Okay, bishop takes the pawn, and then he goes to where?
He only has one move.
C2.
King c2, and then what's next?
Queen
Very good.
to
Queen
D2.
Queen d3.
D3.
D3. Right. Yeah. So let's just play it out. So knight takes g2, king d1, bishop takes f3, king goes to c2, queen comes down, finishes the job. Queen d3 is mate. Right? Very nice mate there. So okay, so he can't go to d1, so he tries to escape to f1. Okay, and now what do we do now? What do you think? So this is a forced mate in 2 right here.
Would you move your white bishop to h3?
Well, that's not a check. And now we have this check. And if he goes down here, it's mate
Yeah.
here. If he goes up here, knight comes here, forks queen and king.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't give him a breather. No giving breathers.
So
And
then you have to
king-
move the queen would put him in check.
Yes, forcing the queen. You need to give him another check. There's only one move. Queen takes king takes g2, and then queen takes f3 is mate. Right. So this is a great example of when you're going against, attacking the king, you have to really make sure that you're continuously attacking, right? Because just one move allowance for your opponent could mean the end. So you got to be relentless. There's a saying in chess, forget who said it. One of the top grandmasters said, chess is not for the kind-hearted. Right? You gotta be aggressive, vicious. Chess is a battle, right? It's not for the kind people. All right, so let's go back. Very good. All right, so let's go on to the next one. So this is again, this is Prince Dadian versus Baturlin, 1883, and here it's white to move. So in this position, what do you think is the best move for white here? And the theme of king hunts.
Queen to G4.
Queen G4. All right. So first of all, he can take this rook with check. Rook takes back, and now,
Never mind.
yeah. and now he can actually expose discovered attack on the queen and attack your bishop at the same time. So yeah. All right. So what else?
Can I just ask you a question? How did black ever get its pawn to G2?
Okay, so this is a game played in the 1800s. So do you guys know the type of opening that was frequently played by players that long ago in the 1800s? Can you guys venture a guess what kind of opening was like the favorite of those kinds of those players back then? Anybody know?
I would guess it would have to be G2 pawn. I mean,
No.
G7.
So the most favorite. So back then, like chess was played very, very dynamically, very excitedly, very a lot of sacrifices, right? So very much attacking games, and not much like positional understanding or appreciation for the game. So for that reason, the King's Gambit, which is considered a very sharp opening and is not really played all that often now, like in top grandmaster circles in tournaments. They don't really play King's Gambit much, but back then they played a lot of it. And so and actually the game before then, the Prince the other one, this is a King's Gambit game as well, and this is also a King's Gambit game. So it tends to yield these kind of very exciting positions, right? So yeah. So on the theme of king hunts, what do you think here? It has to be very exciting. Remember, basically what they're doing is they throw all caution to the wind.
Well, if I'm white, I'm absolutely going after the F7 pawn.
Yeah, so you can see the F7 pawn here is targeted by the bishop, right, on C4. The bishop on F4 is the only thing that's obstructing the F1 rook from putting pressure on the F7 pawn. So it could be some kind of discovery there. So for that reason, yeah, definitely bishop takes F7 was the first move he played. He wants to lure the king out of his protective layer. So all right, so then what do you think he played now? What did black play here? What do you think?
Well, it'd be great if he took.
Yeah, so it would be great if he took, but he doesn't have to take, right? So
No,
so let's see if he did take. If he did take, would that be a good move? What do you think is a good follow-up?
I would be black bishop to C7.
Okay, black bishop to C7. Here's the problem with that. So I understand what you're trying to do. It's a discovered attack, trying to win the queen, but actually black can save the queen and actually win material in the process. Do you see how?
Yeah, if he takes the queen and puts it at F6.
Okay, so he can go queen F6, but then he's still going to lose his queen. So I'm
Yeah.
saying there's a way that black can save the queen, and win material in the process. Anybody see it?
Is it? No, not the knight.
If he moves his bishop, B6 takes the pawn.
Oh no, he can't because he's in check.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he's got to deal with the check. So what do you think black can do here to save his queen and win material? What do you think?
He pawn takes rook at F1.
Yeah, exactly. This pawn's right here, right? Ready to take the rook. So definitely pick up the rook with check, and then the queen can take and deliver another check, saying, okay, now you're in check. I still want to take your queen. Black says, no, my queen is saved. Right? So it doesn't work. Doesn't work. All right. What do you think is another good move here if black took the bishop on F7? What do you think?
A good move for black or a good move?
Oh, sorry, for white. For white, it's white's move here. So black just took the bishop on F7, right? So white's move here.
How about bishop F4 to G5?
Okay, so you want to do it this way. Okay, so again, he can take the rook with check. Okay, and in this case, he can actually block with the knight. He's safe, right? So yeah, so here, the thing is, we don't want to allow him to take this rook, right? We want to
so what if king takes pawn at G2?
Okay, you can take the pawn. That's true, but maybe we want to try to be a little more aggressive than that. Maybe we can bring the queen out. Queen H5 check. Now we're bringing another piece into the attack, right? And now, and where does he go? He's kind of he's almost going to be forced to lose his queen. If he goes here, we have bishop to e5, and he's going to be forced to lose his queen and his knight, right? So if he blocks this way, we have check, right? And now he goes back, and now you can do something like that, and yeah, it's going to be a quick, swift loss there. So yeah, so something like that. So for that reason, he did not take the bishop. He sidestepped the bishop and went king f8. Now, what do you think best move is here for white? What do you think?
Instinctively, I would think bishop to h6, knowing that the knight will take it.
Okay, so bishop h6, knight takes, and now what's the follow-up?
Move the bishop. Bishop to, doesn't matter.
Bishop to h5.
Okay, bishop to h5, take with check, take, and maybe he can, let's see, yeah, come here. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if he goes there, then queen to, oh, that you
No.
have that problem with the knight.
Yeah. F7 is protected by the knight. Yeah, yeah. So sacrificing the bishop on h6 is not really necessary or sound, I think. So,
Okay.
so here, even though he sorely wanted to attack black, he took a moment to save his rook, and he did a non-attacking move and a non-check move, rook f2. Very simply, he just saved his rook. So he could have taken the pawn, but the thing is, that would have exposed his own king, right? So sometimes in this sort of position, when your opponent has such an advanced pawn this way, and it's not really threatening to promote, it's just really advanced. So some masters use their opponent's pawn as a pawn shield to shield their own king. It's kind of funny. Isn't that funny? You use your opponent's pawn to shield your own king. So that's basically what he did. He went rook f2, and now his king is pretty safe, right? Because you can't. How do you get to this white king? It's not easy, right? So now he's threatening a bunch of things. Now if he takes the bishop now he's going to win the queen this way, and yeah, he's going to be pretty winning that way. So yeah, very simple move here, rook f2, and then black followed up with knight f6. Now he's really trying to, he wants to take this bishop, but he wants to cover his king a little bit. So now what do you think the best move here for white is? What do you think?
I keep looking at pawn to e5, and you'll lose the bishop, but then you can get a revealed check.
Pawn e5, okay, and I guess maybe something like that. All right, it's a possibility.
You also have a check with queen at h5.
Yeah, you do.
Whenever you want it.
Okay, that is a possibility. So anybody else? Any ideas?
You could pin the knight with your bishop at g5 as well.
Yes, that's true. You could do that. Okay, that would be pretty powerful.
Knight to D5, the
Knight to
white knight,
Knight
The
D5 here.
yeah.
Okay. You could do that. Yeah, these are all pretty good moves. You know, because you want to dislodge the knight so that the line is open to attack the black king, right? So these are all pretty good moves. And by the way, if he takes this pawn, then what do you think is a good move here?
Why wouldn't you then bishop to h6 check?
Bishop to h6 is not check; it's checkmate.
Mate.
Right?
Ah.
Knight is covering e7. So yeah. So and if he takes the knight, we can go bishop h6. King is forced to come back here. Then we go bishop g5, and we win the queen. Right? So yeah. So dislodging the knight is a good course of action, but of course, this is 1883. So why would they do such a tame move? Of course not. So they're going to do a crazy move like this: Queen h5. So White is sacrificing his queen for the sole reason of luring the knight away from blocking the black king, right? So he's like, take my queen. Just like what was the comedian that we said the last class who said take my wife? Was that comedian?
Oh, yeah.
Was that Benny Hill?
No,
No,
Was that? I forgot the name.
I can't think of it.
he was in Caddyshack.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So yeah,
Rodney Dangerfield.
There you go.
was that
Wow.
him? I don't know. But yeah, so White is saying, take my queen, please. And of course, Black obliges, and so now we begin the king hunt. So what do you think is the first move here? We want to draw the king out of his lair. What do you think?
You could give up, bishop to h6.
Very good. Bishop to h6. So now in the game he played king e7. He ran. He could also go knight g7. So so yeah, and knight g7, I think it looks like it would have ended up to be a draw, right? Because if we go king, bishop to let's say g6, then he can just hide here, and then it would be really hard to get to him. I mean, if you try to go this way, you know, he can just let's see, run away like this, and he can just repeat the same thing. It's kind of going to be hard to get to him that way also. So yeah, so it might have been a draw if he went knight g7, but he didn't. He went king e7. So now what do we do?
Well, if it were me, you see the white possibility of taking the knight, but I wouldn't do that. I would put my bishop on, on G5 check, and you'd get the queen.
Okay, so that is one possibility, because you will pick up the queen. But remember, this is a king hunt, right? We did sacrifice our queen. We did sacrifice our queen here for nothing, basically. So if we just pick up the queen, it's just going to be a queen trade, basically, right? So we want to. I think what White is going after is mate, not necessarily recovering his queen. So in that case, what do you think is a better move than bishop g5?
Well, possibly knight to d5.
Right, knight d5. Good. Now that pushes Black out again, forced to go to king d6. Now, okay, continue.
Pawn to e5.
Very good. e5, forcing Black to continue even more. Now continue.
Knight to b4.
Very good. Knight b4 check. Only one move available. King b5. Okay, continue.
A4.
A4, very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
and what if he takes the knight? The knight looks free, right? What if he takes the knight? Is that a good move?
Isn't bishop to D2 mate?
Very good.
Wow.
Bishop d2 is mate, so the knight is untouchable. So he's forced to go to a5. Now, just look at this position for a moment. The king started off here. Look where the king is right here. This is a very nice little stroll he's taken almost in the center of the board. Of course, if your opponent's king, the closer your opponent's king gets to your side of the board, the easier it is for you to mate him, right? So even though white is down, let's see, white is down an entire queen and a knight in this position. White definitely has the advantage because look at this king is so out in the open and vulnerable, right? And that's the idea behind the king hunt, right? So in this position, what do you think best move is here for white? What do you think?
Pawn to C4 or
Okay, so let's see, C4. All right, I
Take-
think here, so that's not a check. So now I think now you're giving black a chance to maybe he can take on D4. His king can, you know, so now you're pinning the rook.
Why can't the
and-
king just take B4? Take the knight
Oh, you mean before?
right now.
So let's see. So king B4. Now what do we do?
You'd have to move bishop to D2
Okay,
check.
bishop D2. Okay, so the difference is it's not mate because now the C pawn is blocking the bishop, right? So it's not mate. Now he can come down to B3. So now
Now I would advance the C pawn to C3 check.
okay, discovered check. Okay, so now let's say he attacks here.
And well, now you've got
I
to
mean,
be.
it's probably going to be mate if you play this correctly.
Yeah, so then I would probably, you're going to have to chase, but you've got to be careful because you could end up losing a rook.
Yeah, you don't want to
Well-
lose you don't want to lose another rook. So maybe rook
Well, I
rook
would probably
A2.
put my rook there, right, and
Yeah.
Kevin covered by
Yeah,
the
rook
white
A2
bishop.
check here. And now
And now you could,
now maybe
well,
here
you have to be careful.
maybe here we just take a moment to let's say do something like this. And now actually, you know what? No, that doesn't work either because we need the bishop on this diagonal to protect the rook, right? So let's see here. Maybe we just do something simple like this. Now we're threatening mate right here.
Why couldn't you bring your rook F2 down to F1?
Oh no,
Okay.
we're gonna lose it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So bishop C3 looks like the strongest move here. And I don't think there's anything that black can do to avert this mate right here. So yeah, beautiful mate. King started on F8. King ends up on B1. Okay, so that's one line if he takes the knight. And so, okay, so that's if we did C4. But he didn't do C4. Okay, give me another idea. What do you think?
You say white?
Yep, white to move. Yeah. So we just looked at C4.
Right. Well, bishop to D2.
Yeah, so that is an interesting move. Okay. It's like a discovered setting up a discovery. Okay, so I think the best move for black probably would be to take this bishop, take the pawn on D4. And it might lead to checkmate. Let's see. Yeah, I mean we have this discovery, maybe something like Something like this. But yeah, see the bishop. The problem is the bishop is
Blocked.
being blocked, right? Maybe check this way, but then he can come up here.
How
Let's
about
see.
pawn
Yeah, pawn
to,
here. So the problem
pawn-
is if we go here, I mean, actually, you know what? It still might work. It still might work. So this might lead to the same variation of what actually happened in the game. So I'll just give you this move because it's not so intuitive. So here again, White took some time to pause his attack and just save this knight, right? So he moved the knight back to d3, vacated the b4 square. So now these pawns can be pushed up, and the mate will be pretty easy, right? After that, so now, so Black has basically a free move now. So he went bishop takes d4. So now we continue the attack. What do you think he did?
He's got to start putting him in check and moving him inexorably back. So I guess he'd bring down either the black bishop to d2 or
Yeah.
begin.
Okay. So yeah, bishop d2 or b4. So he
Yeah.
chose b4.
Yeah.
Right. B4 check. And so he went king here, king to b6. Let's see what happens if he goes here. If he goes to a6, what do you think is the best move here?
bishop to c4.
Bishop to c4. Okay, so the problem with this move is now you're allowing him to block and create an escape square here.
But then you have, oh, yes, right.
Right. So he
Right.
blocked. Let's say he takes, I don't know how you're going to take like this, escape, and you can even go here, but then he blocks again. And now he's basically safe. Right. So you don't want to let him escape that way.
Well, didn't you have your, oh, you're right.
All right. So what do you think?
Well, if you move the c pawn to c4, you're blocking everything. I mean,
Well, again, you're giving him a chance to
you
create
do
an
give
escape
him
square.
that chance.
Yeah. So you don't want to give him that chance, right? So continue. You got to continue attacking here.
Well, then the only move is knight to c5, right?
Okay, so you go knight c5, and he can take and then push here again. So it looks like to me b5 would be the strongest move here. And if he goes, now he has two options, b6 or a5. If he goes a5, now you can bring the bishop down, and we continue checking a5. Now he's forced to take. So now here there's going to be a mate in a few moves. Do you see how to do it from here?
Is the first move pawn to c4?
Very good. Pawn to c4. Yeah, c4 is the first move. So now he has two options. He has a6 or c6. So if he goes to c6, what's the best move here?
Bishop to d5.
Bishop d5 is mate. Very good. Bishop d5. And if he goes to a6, now what?
Knight to b4.
Very good. Knight b4 is mate as well. So yeah, very beautiful king hunt here. So let me just go back. So this is not exactly what happened in the game. So what happened was b4, he went king b6, and then a5 check. So king a6. So here a couple of similar variations are if he goes to b5, we have c4 check, and then mate either b5 or bishop d5. They're both mate. Or if he goes again, mate is there. Nice mate with the pawns, right? It's always nice when you can mate with pawns. So what ended up happening was he went to a6 instead, and then white brought him out again with a pawn sacrifice, c4, and then mate that way. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left. Do you want to? We'll do one more game, really quick, right? You want to do that? Okay. Let's do one more game here. All right. So this is a game between Lang and Hauptmann, 1855, Erfurt. And it's white to play. What is the best move for white here? What do you think?
It's white to move.
Yeah, this is actually a very this is not an easy move to find, because if you see, what is black threatening in this position? Do you see what black's threatening to do?
Attack the queen by taking the knight with the bishop.
Okay, so the knight, the bishop is pinning the knight to the queen, and the knight is protecting the bishop on e3, and the knight on g4 is putting pressure on the bishop. So actually, black is threatening to win a piece here. So how would he win a piece? If it was black's move, how could he win a piece? Do you see how he could win a piece if it was black's move?
Yeah, knight takes bishop at
Very good. Knight takes e3. Yeah, and then queen takes, and then bishop takes. Yeah, and you win an extra minor piece. Yeah, an extra minor piece. So what was White's response to the fact that his opponent's threatening to win a piece? He castles. Of course he castles, right? He says, "I don't care if you're going to win a piece. I want to attack your king." So black says, "Okay, I'll take my piece." All right. And then check. So now if the queen or the bishop, doesn't matter, blocks, how does white win his piece back?
Check at C.
Very good. Check. Yeah. And here, I mean, he could win the rook or the bishop. They're both hanging. And the same thing happens if you block with the bishop, check, and you win the bishop. And so now white is winning by 3 pawns. So yeah, so that should be pretty enough to win. But black says, "I don't want to give you your piece back." So he goes king d7. So a lot of people were greedy in terms of chess back then. So if they have a material superiority, they're like, "I'm going to keep it." So king d7. And white sorely wants to open up the d file to attack the king. So if he took with the bishop, but what if he took with the pawn? Was that a wise decision? What do you guys think?
No, because then you would just take the bishop.
Very good.
With
the
queen.
pawn is pinned to the king, right? Bishop is hanging. Good. So he must take with his bishop, and of course, white sacrifices the exchange. So now if we examine the material, white is down, black is ahead an extra rook, right? But we'll see how that goes. So king c7, queen c4 check. Okay, king b7. And now, of course, you can't do a king hunt with just the queen. He needs to bring out his other pieces. So he takes a moment to develop his knight, and the rook is going to come onto d1 and join in the party. All right, so bishop d6, rook d1, queen b6. Okay, so now and now we continue attacking. So he goes queen d5, and
okay. Excuse me, why wouldn't you take the pawn at f7 check?
Right now, you mean?
Yeah.
So he can take the pawn. I think that actually helps black. Now he has a chance to defend.
Well,
So yeah, it might allow him, because if he can get this rook out and this rook out, and you know, once he develops these other pieces, then black's just going to win because black is ahead an extra rook. So white has to be very careful in the moves he chooses because he's down a rook, right? So yeah, so queen d5 check, king c7 because he wants to hold on to his extra piece. And now he does queen takes f7 check, king c6. Now we have knight e5 check. Now the king, so black has a few choices. He can capture the knight, or he can move his king to b5 or c5. Both of them lose. So I'll just show you
okay.
what if he takes the knight. Now, what do you think? How do we finish off black if he takes the knight? What do you think?
Queen to d7.
Very good. Queen d7 pushes the black king towards our position. Now okay, keep going.
Queen to d5.
Queen d5. Very good. Continue pushing. Now he's on the 4th rank. He's on our side of the board. Okay, keep going.
Pawn to c3.
Okay, well, if you go pawn c3, now you're giving him a chance to trade material. You know, so we don't want to give him a chance to trade. So we got to continue attacking without trading.
Well, how does he trade?
Oh, he can sacrifice his bishop.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we don't want to give him any chances to trade material or get rid of some of our pieces, right? So what do you think?
Well, then pawn to a3.
Good. Pawn a3, check. And now the king is forced to go to a4. Okay, now keep going, keep attacking.
Queen. Oh, that's not going to do it.
Rook to d4? No.
No, you just lose your rook. So yeah, so here we want to continue attacking the king on a4. So bring the queen down to c4, right? Very nice. Check. And he's only got one good move, king a5. Now continue attacking the king.
Pawn to b4?
Okay, you can do pawn b4. He can hide here a little bit. So might not work. Yeah, although you know what, it might. Okay, so let's say b5 check. If he takes here, this is mate, right? If he goes up here, this is mate. Okay, so it does work. Okay, that works too. See, there's multiple ways to win, but okay, what else? What's another way to win here? So we got the queen. We got to bring the rook in, right? So bring the rook into the attack.
Yeah.
Right.
d5.
Yeah. Rook d5 check. Definitely. The king has nowhere to go. Queen is forced to block, and then we finish off with a nice mate on b5. Right. So another beautiful example of a stunning king hunt there. So yeah. So that's the lecture on king hunts. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So yeah, so we'll do another theme next week. Another exciting theme. hope you guys can incorporate some king hunts into your games, and you know, hopefully you do some intentional queen sacrifices as opposed to unintentional queen sacrifices. That's always much more impressive, right? I meant to do that queen sacrifice. Yes. Yeah, great. All right, guys. So yeah, so I'll email you guys the video, the lecture of this, and yeah, have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Good night.
Good night.